Welcome. We're almost ready to start building that boat. In this video, I'm getting everything ready, doing the final touches to building a shop outdoors before I can build a boat. I'm getting the generator set up, a plasma cutter and welder at home, and doing some troubleshooting on an air compressor. But first, what you're watching me do here is put shelving in that ISU 90. I need a place to put all of my bags and clothes and things like dishes, stuff that's not extremely important to building this boat, but stuff that I need to keep out of the rain. A small thing I ran into here is that screw is not quite long enough to go through two pieces of metal, so what I do first is pre-drill the first piece, run the impact in through it, and then sink it with this hammer into the second piece, and then I can come back with the impact and sink it down into that second piece. I'm using some thin live edge boards I'd laying around the site for shelving after I got the two supports in. And here's everything in there. This thing will work out great. I imagine the entire time I'm on the boat this stuff will probably stay in here. Next I'm going to try and seal up the rusty holes on top of the knack box. Tried using it with the cordless grinder, it was just taking too long. So this is a big grinding stone. It's what I plan to grind the boat with. We'll see how it goes. I'm actually going to set up a test here soon where I time how long it takes to do, 4 or 5 square feet, and I'll see how long it might take me to grind the boat with that thing. But I'm going to go ahead and hit this knack box with some Bondo and see if I can get that roof to last a few more years. I know the appropriate way is to cut the metal out and replace it, and I'll probably do that eventually. But if I can get, well, I'm not going to put a time on it. If I can get through college with this roof not having another hole in it, that'd be great. Save me a lot of time and money. So go ahead and start stacking this thing with tools. This would be a great thing to have on the site to be right next to where I'm working. If the rain rolls in, I can work right up until it starts pouring and I can just shut the door like that. These doors down here were a little tough to open. Let's hit them with some oil. A lot of storage down there. I think it'd be a great place for the welding leads. Got a few hundred feet of them. And the next day I went ahead and gave the roof another coat. I think it turned out well. Next, need to get some air for the plasma cutters. A friend had this 60-gallon 5-horse compressor sitting around his land. Give that thing a shot. But first, I need to give it some power. So I'm going to temporarily wire it up to my 5K generator. Give it a few spins by hand to make sure it was alright. And before we give it power, let's go ahead and see if there's moisture in it. Pulled the petcock and nothing came out, so that's good. Now I'll drain the oil, see what that looks like. Black gold. It was pretty bad. Let's go ahead and take the inspection cover off and check for rust in there. Didn't see anything too bad. Inspected the bearings and wiped all the old oil out. Looks good. Got some new oil in it. Let's see what happens. It runs. And then it doesn't. It keeps tripping the breaker on my 5K. I'll check this angle and see if I can't hear anything from here. No funny noises, no wobbling. Let's see how many amps it's pulling. Dope. Try that again. 48.9 amps. The 10K will run that, but I guarantee you it won't run that and the plasma cutter at the same time. So we also have this second compressor. We'll wire this thing up and see what it does. Runs like a charm. We'll see if it'll shut down on its own too. Sure does. Well, that'll work. So now I need to get an actual extension on that thing, but first let's go ahead and plumb it up for air. So I'm going to run that tank to this tank and have 2 tanks of storage and run those back to the plasma cutter. Only have 1 pump. But maybe I'll be able to make a cut with all the stored air and then, just take a break, go do something else. Come back and hit it again. So I built this T with a shutoff valve, and I'm going to go ahead and make my own hoses too. I bought about 50 foot of hose and cut them to length and put ferrules on them. We'll give that a shot. But, you hear that? That's an air leak. And it's coming from underneath this foot. Let's see if I can get you guys in there for a closer look. Yep, quite a bit of rust, and you can see water stains. That's been there a while. Well, that sucks. I can fix that. I just don't know when it'll be, or if I'll even do it on this job. Well, I was getting pretty hungry, and, well, I've decided to start eating MREs. I did not like these things in the military. I think it's using just too much energy to keep food cold out of here. You know, ice isn't working, refrigerator's not staying cold. And, you know, I think just driving to town to go get something to eat is just taking way too long. But, enough of that. Let's get back to work. So next, we need power at the site. I got this 10K from Doug on SV Seeker. Pretty thankful for that. I think it'll work great. And, there's no exhaust or muffler. We'll see how loud it is before I go building one. And look what I found on the property. A friend had some 2224 and this sub panel. This would be excellent, allowing me to locate the generator away from the build site. And I'm awfully close to the neighbor where I'm at, so the further away I can get the generator, the better for them. And the better for them, the better for me. I know I don't like being a crappy neighbor because I don't like crappy neighbors myself. So I rolled out all that extension, and looks like this is where it's going to go. So let's get that thing in place, and then we'll wire in that 2224. But I decided maybe to go look for a muffler. Tried looking under this truck, and it's straight piped. So that's not going to work. So we'll go ahead and get the panel wired up. I removed the old outlets that were on it. Now we'll run those extensions up in there and terminate them at the circuit breakers. Went ahead and gave this sub panel a cleaning and get it strapped to the tree. And don't worry, that strap's not going to be there long. Hopefully. I have no intentions of taking forever to build this boat. Also added a welder outlet, and that's how I'll get power out to the knack box, and a couple of 20 amp 110 circuits. We'll see if it works. I'm not an electrician. Next, need to put some circuits out here in the knack box. We'll go ahead and put in an LB. Should be a watertight hole to get power inside of this thing. So what I'll do is I'll have 3 welder outlets that I can plug in the plasma cutter, the welder, and the compressor individually. I decided not to hardwire the air compressor and leave it on its own plug so I can turn it on and off. Well, I think we're ready to turn this thing on. So you got the generator in place, got fuel to it, and I put that tin up to hopefully try and keep some of these crazy thunderstorms off the generator. I don't know if it'll work, it'll probably blow away. It's working. It's not putting out any volts. And it turns out there was an extra circuit breaker in the back of the generator I didn't know about. That's all it was, and putting out over 200 and something volts. Flip the switch there, no boom. This is good. And we got power to the welder. That's pretty cool. Pretty excited to see that thing work. I'm ready to start laying down some beads. Let's see if the plasma cutter works. Yep, it's liking the generator too. That's fantastic. And last, let's see if the air compressor will kick on. It sure does. Well, that's it, folks. We're ready to start swinging steel and throwing sparks. That's what you'll see in the next videos. Got everything ready. It's been a long journey to get to this point. I don't even know how long it's been. Maybe a month? Multiple trips, multiple states, moving all my stuff down here, people giving me lots of help, letting me stay on the couch. going to get materials, just literally middle of nowhere. Got to meet some pretty cool people. I think that's the best part of building something like this, is meeting all these different people. Alright, we are building the air. I think I'll clean all this up, try and get some rest tonight. It's going to be a pretty long day tomorrow. I'm going to take all that steel over here and turn it into a boat. Thanks for watching.